Hi, and welcome to leg 6 of my Balkans road trip. We're going south as we make our way toward Montenegro. Last time we checked out Mostar. I've been trying to think what it is about Mostar that I loved so much, beyond the beautiful sights and friendly people. I think one of the main reasons is that even though you're in Europe, it feels very different than a lot of the other countries in Europe. A different terrain, different religion, different culture. I really enjoyed that. So, after 3 nights in Mostar, I was ready to head to Trebinje. I took a little detour on my way to the small settlement of Počitelj, a place I had actually passed on my way to Mostar. This is a medieval fortress village along the Neretva River. The fortress was built by King Trebinje in 1383 and fell to the Ottomans in 1471. The 16th to the 18th centuries were its golden era, and much of the important buildings were built then, hence the noticeable Ottoman architecture. It was a popular tourist place and artistic retreat after World War II, but during the Bosnian War it was badly damaged. Okay, we're gonna go up these stairs. There's like old meat or something there. These dome tops are part of the madrasa, which is an Islamic school and dates from before 1664. It's the standard type of smaller religious school with 5 classrooms and a lecture room ranged along the 2 sides of an inner courtyard. It says destroyed August 1993. I actually liked walking around in the rain, and it felt like I was navigating a maze as I explored the village. I will warn you though that you need to walk carefully if you go when it's wet because those stones can be slick. When I first started walking around, I thought it was okay, but the higher up I went, the more I was just blown away by the views. I could tell people still live there, but I didn't see any residents out. And toward the end, when I was getting ready to leave, I saw one other family there with a tour guide. The perks of traveling off-season. Okay, I've been seeing this everywhere. Like 1981 and Red Army spray painted everywhere. Doesn't seem very safe. One interesting thing about this place, unlike other towns dating back to that same period, there are no burial grounds within the town walls, and the mosque doesn't have a graveyard either. After I left the village, I made my way to Trebinje, which is in southern Bosnia-Herzegovina, in the Herzegovina region, part of Republic Srpska. It's in a great location because you're not far from Dubrovnik, Kotor, or Mostar. The road was very narrow and winding most of the time, and there were parts with very lumpy, bumpy asphalt. Shit roads, trucks, narrow, have to overtake. I guess this is the Balkans experience. There were also random stray dogs that would just be standing on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. I I drove through Popovo Polje on my way down, which is a large karstic field, one of the largest in the world, in fact. If you're wondering what the heck a karstic field is, karst is a type of landscape where the dissolving of the bedrock has created sinkholes, sinking streams, caves, and springs. It's associated with soluble rock types like limestone, marble, and gypsum. A karst landscape usually forms when much of the water falling on the surface enters the subsurface through cracks, fractures, and holes that have been dissolved into the bedrock. After traveling underground, the water is then discharged from springs, many of which are cave entrances. What is that? Look at this. Double rainbow. Holy crap. That's so pretty. The Trebinje River flows through the middle of Popovo Polje. It is one of the longest sinking rivers in the world, which means that almost half of its length flows under the ground. The river flows into Trebinje, where I only stayed for one night. Despite there being a lot of traffic and a lot of traffic cameras, I was excited about this city. Going way back in time, it was a Serbian-held city, and in 1373 came under Bosnian control by King Tvrtko, that same guy that built the fortress in Počitelj. From the late 1400s to the late 1800s, it was part of the Ottoman Empire and had many conflicts and uprisings during those 400 years. And during the Bosnian War, it was controlled by the Bosnian Serb forces and used as a major command and artillery base by Yugoslav People's Army troops. Remember in the last video when I was talking about the self-proclaimed Serbian autonomous regions? Well, in 1992, Trebinje was the capital of the Serbian autonomous region of Herzegovina. Bosniak residents were either forced to fight with the JNA or faced execution. This resulted in many of the Bosniaks fleeing this region, hence why it's now about 94% Bosnian Serbs. The town looked so cute and I wish I had more time to walk around and explore it. Unfortunately, my time in Trebinje was a little soured because of the place I was staying. And this is where traveling as a solo female can be a real pain. I did most of my bookings through Airbnb, but I booked this place on booking.com, so I didn't see who the hosts were. It had raving reviews though. Tons of reviews, almost all 5 stars. It was late afternoon when I got in, and as I pulled up to the place my map was guiding me to, I wasn't even sure if it was the right place because there weren't any obvious signs it was the apartment. There were also men loading furniture and appliances into a little truck, men sitting in chairs in the garage, and men walking around the lawn. It was all men. I was tired, hungry, and dehydrated, and at that point it was getting toward evening, so I decided to just check in. One of the men in the garage helped me, but didn't speak any English, so he fetched his son. Wow. This is the only time during the trip where I felt seriously uncomfortable. After he showed me the room, he proceeded to stand in front of the door and would not stop talking. At first, it was just a little small talk about where I'm from and telling me what to see in Trebinje, which was fine, but then he would not stop. And it was one of those things where I was almost afraid to risk pissing him off by cutting him off and asking him to leave because I could tell there was something seriously off with him. And he clearly did not have boundaries or understand social cues and norms. He also repeatedly told me he couldn't believe I was traveling alone and that people here aren't like other places, as if it's not safe for me to travel there alone. Sir, I haven't felt unsafe once this trip until I met you. The best part of that conversation was when he told me he's never been to America, doesn't want to go there, doesn't like it, and that every piece of land is covered in cement and buildings. And probably the only good states worth visiting are New York and Nevada. Okay then. I spent that night watching Hoarders on TLC with my 50-pound suitcase and all my bags stacked on top of it, pressed up against the door. I barely slept that night because I was on high alert for noises the whole night. I didn't trust that guy. The next day, I gladly left the apartment and sadly left Trebinje. But before heading out, I snaked my way up this winding, narrow road to the top of a hill where a Serbian Orthodox monastery sits. Can just park right up front. Got the snow-capped mountains. There's a restaurant, but I don't think it's open off-season. Wow. Wow, look at that log. It might look old, but it was completed in 2000 and is a loose replica of this monastery in Kosovo. It's beautiful and opulent inside, and the best part is the views overlooking the city. There's the bridge, and then that cement-looking building is the place I stayed at. Okay, let's go see what's inside. Whoa! There's like, maybe they do shows or something here. I don't know what this little thing is for. And then look, there's the view of town. It's so pretty. Oh, the dogs are going bonkers. The music in Bosnia is on another level. There, I just passed an old lady washing her clothes in a wash basin in her front, like in front of her door. God, this road is like full of potholes. I just passed like some signs that said Med, M-E-D, and I thought it was like some weird small medical clinic out here. And then I realized there was like a ton of bee boxes, and I think maybe it was like actually mead, like honey liquor. I don't know. I had a pretty drive on my way to Montenegro, which is where I was going to spend a whole week relaxing before I began my route back up to Slovenia. So hit subscribe and notify, because the next episode is going to be all about Kotor Bay. See you next time.